For those who are new into the foodie world, this is pretty much how her channel took off. She would do these mukbangs and tell the most unbelievable stories ever. And most of them, honestly, I think she stole from somebody or told somebody else's story or ripped them off from a movie or someone else's channel, but it worked for her and her channel because her channel took off.
There's some cherry tomatoes, this leftover macaroni salad, which I don't even know if it's still good. It's been in there. Who here, raise your hand, yeah or nay, has been horny and lonely after going to a bar and getting drunk? Which is part of the reason I'm afraid to be single. I know it has its benefits and everything, but whenever I was single, I was bitter because of those nights, you know? It was a night when I was going with this one girlfriend of mine to this local bar. There was a band playing that I really liked. It was like a local band. Story about how I stalked somebody in a band.
Going down.
About how they were stalked. I was the stalker. No, I'm not proud. It just is what it is. Get to the bar. We're already half in the bag, acting like idiots. People could stand me when I'm drunk. The band, I was freaking out because as we were going in the bar, the band was walking in behind us, and I was like, "Oh my God, are you in the band?" And the guy was like, one of the guys imitated me. He's like, "Oh my God, yes, I'm in the band." The bar closing, and I got that feeling like I don't want to go home and I want to get laid, you know?
You're a fat skank.
So I decide, I'm like, and my friend was like, well, I gotta go home, you know, like, so my friend lived like where I had to walk her home. You had to go down by the water. There's like this path, like this like bike path down by the water. Probably dangerous at the time, yeah. Homeless people and stuff that hang out there. And it's known to be dangerous. Whatever. So I walked her home, and as I was coming back the same way, I was drunk, I was fearless, okay? And let's be real. Nobody's kidnapping a fat chick. As I'm walking home, I see this guy. He wasn't too scruffy looking, but he was kind of scruffy, you know? He was carrying like a shopping bag, and it had like DVDs in it, probably to pawn them. Do you have a light? And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And when I got to see him, his name was Todd. We started talking, and I was just like, I was attracted to him, you know? He just really wanted some or something, you know? So, like, let's go sit on the rock and, you know, have a cigarette. You know, my cigarettes, but whatever. He was homeless, give him a break. You know, got to find out he was homeless, and he told me a bit about himself. He said he got kicked out at his dad's. His dad was an abusive asshole. So he's been couch surfing, but his friend's girlfriend was like, you know, you can't stay here, you know. So there he was, in between places. So he was gonna just wander around and sleep on a park bench, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't really care. I was just like, give me that D. A really gentle kisser. We found a rock, a big rock, and we did it on the rock. We do it. I mean, I know what you're thinking. What did he smell like? That's what I would wonder.
Oh, God.
He didn't smell too homeless, like, you know, he smelled a little bit like malt vinegar, but it was coming from his feet and not his privates, so that was good, you know. We used protection. Bad internet encounters. So, people we've met from online or whatever, you know. For me, I remembered a story when I was living with my ex, stinky, you know, ripped underwear, bologna eating roommate. I was single at the time and to have fun. Like I was, you know, very wild at the time. Like I think I was, how old was I? Maybe 21. And you know, I was on chat rooms. I think it was the IRC one where I met the other freaks. Well, to go online. And I had been talking to this guy who lived in Ottawa. Found out he was like worked at a restaurant as like a chef or whatever. He lived with his girlfriend in an upstairs apartment in this old house that her dad owned, his girlfriend's dad. So he was like, you know, we're looking for another girl to fool around with. You know, we want to try having a threesome. She's bisexual. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, so am I, that's cool. And I'm like, I don't have a car. I didn't have a car then. And they didn't. So he's like, well, how much would it be for a taxi? I'll pay for your taxi. I was like, wow, you must really want it badly. There's no women in Ottawa. Population of over 1 million people. Guess not. So I called the taxi company and I asked, and they said it would be $120 now, and it was already probably like 8 at night, so it was late. So I said, yeah, it's a good, you know, hour and a half drive, give or take. So I call a taxi, and the taxi picks me up, and I just grab a bag with a change of underwear, necessary when you're going to, you know, when you're going for a threesome. You gotta be fresh. I had a change of underwear, a pack of condoms, and a 40-ounce bottle of liquor that was half finished already. Well, a quarter finished or so. And I think I brought a bottle of soda to chase it with. I was planning on drinking in the vehicle. Idiot me. You know, I figure the cab driver's probably male. Can show him cleavage, he'll let me drink. Anyway. Picks me up. I have my big bag. So we go. I tell him the address. The thing is that my mom was, you know, going by herself to see. My aunt lived, before she lived in Jamaica, she lived in Ottawa too. And I had invited my mom over for like a special, you know, just sisters night. So I'm sure my mom was happy to get away. My sister was younger then, and you know, she wanted probably some alone time. So my mom was up in Ottawa anyway. So I had that in the back of my mind the whole time. Like, if anything happens, I can run away there. They probably wouldn't be happy to know that I came up and ruined their thing, but in case, you know. So he drops me off at the house. It's like one of those older homes. I'm not good with architecture and history, like the, you know, time frames of architecture. But it was probably like, you know, it was a very older house. So they were waiting for me outside, his girlfriend and he and his girlfriend. When I got there, they paid the taxi driver. I was like, wow, nobody's ever spent $120 on me before. I don't think I should have shown up there drunk, because I was like, hey, you know, it's probably so annoying. From the get-go, the girlfriend, I don't know what her problem was. If she either wasn't attracted to me, or she didn't like me, and she was jealous. Because the whole night she was like looking at me like she didn't pay attention to me. She would just give me dirty looks the whole night, and I wasn't getting a vibe at all from her. So I was like, okay, you know, whatever. The guy, I kind of got the same vibe. Like, he was kind of just like, almost like he was going along with what she wanted. You know, he didn't want to make her, this was a new thing for them, whatever, you know. Couples are fucking annoying when it comes to threesomes. Like, either you want to do it or you don't. They were around my age. He was tall, kind of geeky looking. He wasn't bad. He was very thin. She was heavy set. At the time, I wasn't that big. She was heavier than me. Glasses. No makeup. Very plain. So they're like, well, do you want to go to this local pub for a bit? And I was like, okay. They're like, for a couple drinks. I was like, yeah, more booze? Yeah. But then I was like, oh, we're going to have to walk. And I had the crappiest shoes. So we walked to the pub. And there was like a whole bunch of their friends there. You know. There was like a snobby girl there. She's like, who are you? You know, like, I told her. And she's like, you came all the way in a taxi? Like, she was like, you know. So I had like, I remember getting like a sampler of all these different kinds of beers. I think it was too rowdy for their kind, you know. I was like, woo, let's get shots. And I was really drunk. And everyone probably thought I was weird, you know. I got the vibe that nobody liked me. Pretty much. But I was drunk, so I had drinking a lot. I would drink the whole sampler of beers. I had 2 tequila shots. Everyone had like a beer, so they were probably thinking, oh my god, what a lush, you know, skanky lush. So I'm like, I'm gonna go outside for a smoke. So I went outside. The guy followed me out there. He's like, I'm sorry if it's not, you know, what exactly you thought it would be. And then out of nowhere, he's like, nice tits, by the way. And I was like, I just felt like really out of place and disgusting. Like, I didn't want to be there. I felt like an object. They made me feel like really low, you know? So I was like, this is fucking boring. This is pathetic. I'm glad you wasted your money, you know? Anyway, I was stuck there. So, whenever he said nice tits, it kind of sounded like he was trying to make me feel more into it. You know what I mean? But he really wasn't. I don't know. Anyway, he didn't seem like a very sexually forward kind of guy. You know what I mean? We ended up walking back to their house. We get there. One of her girlfriends, the girl's girlfriends, came back to the place with us. And she's like, oh, I'm really tired. I'm not, you know, I just want to lay in bed. She goes and lays in her bed, and her friend goes and lays in bed with her. And I'm in the other room listening. I'm like, can you put David Bowie on? And I'm like, you know, do you have anything else to drink? I ended up having more of my bottle that I had left there in my bag. And so he put that music on for me, and they just looked so bored. And the other girl, ignoring me in the other room, was giggling with her friend. And I'm like, are they laughing at me? Or, you know what I mean? Like, it was just so fucking weird. It gets worse. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go in there and see how they act. I go in the room. The minute I get in there, they stop giggling and they look at me. And I'm like, do you mind if I get in bed with you guys? So I get in bed, and the girl like kind of just shrinks away. And then after a few minutes, she's like, I think I'm just gonna go to bed. And her friend's like, yeah, I'm gonna go home. So I'm like, okay. She's like, do you mind hitting the light when you leave the room? I was like, you invited me here. You paid $120 for me to get here. And you're acting like a total bitch. Like, what's your problem? You know? And then the guy was like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna go to bed. Sorry, we're just really tired, you know? I was like, okay. So he's like, here, I'll set you up your own little space. Like, he was nice. And I remember trying to sleep and looking out the window, and everything was spinning. Like, it was just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. And oh my god. I must have fallen asleep. I woke up early the next morning. Naturally, I woke up to the feeling of having to be sick. I'm like, oh shit. I don't even know if I don't even know where the bathroom is. You know, I hadn't taken note. So I ran like through the little hall, and it was a small bathroom apartment. So their bedroom was right there beside the bathroom. I'm like, they're gonna hear everything. I find the bathroom, get on my knees, start doing my thing. And this is gross, guys. I'm warning you if you're grossed out. You can't say I didn't warn you, so don't bitch for me later. Turn away. You have 3 seconds. So it comes out both ends. And I had a skirt on. And a G-string. The barf goes projectile all over their wall. The poop goes all over their floor. No towels, no paper towel anywhere in the bathroom. No toilet paper. So at this point, I was like panicking. But they didn't wake up. They were still sleeping somehow. I didn't hear any movement. I didn't know what to do. I took my G-string off, cleaned up with some socks and some clothes I had in my bag. You know, I think I had a sweater or something in there. Anyway, it was disgusting. And I smelled bad. And I was like, shit, you know? What happened after when I went home, I never heard from them again. I never heard from him again. So I'm assuming they found my mess and just were like, screw this chick. I'm not messaging her anymore. So that's probably what happened.
Live from the pit of hell. Nat, you're welcome, motherfucker. And guess what you broke? You broke your channel. Ha!
Oh my God.